Okay, so I've had this Dyson V8 since August 2017 and it is now August 2021, so it's been about 4 years. Runtime isn't as what it was. In fact, the battery started to go around June, July 2019, but unfortunately I didn't contact Dyson until literally a week after the 2-year warranty ran out, so I had to pay for the new battery. In fact, I've had this battery since about September 2019, so the battery is almost 2 years old in itself, which I'm a little bit worried about, but we'll see how that goes. I originally planned to replace the battery in April 2020, just after the last runtime video I done, but unfortunately I never got the time and never got around to it. I've still been using the Dyson, but with the ever decreasing runtimes. In fact, I can no longer clean the whole house in one charge. It will now take 2 to 4 charges. So I've now eventually found the time to look at changing the battery. But first, I will look at doing a quick 16-month later comparison of runtimes since my last video in April 2020. So then on max power, the runtime is about 32 seconds and the normal runtime is about 10.5 minutes. So we'll now get to see how 16 months has affected the battery performance. I'm also going to be looking at seeing how easy it is to change the battery without any experience, research or any idea of how or what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know if there's any instructions in here and I haven't really looked at anything to see what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm presuming it should just be some screws taken apart and then just a simple replacement. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Then once I've changed the battery, I'll look at rerunning the runtime tests and seeing how much it's improved. Okay, so the charging light has just gone out, so I will now look to do the max test run. As you may notice, it's now in a different location. Well, it's in a different house as I've moved since then. Got more carpets on the floor, but to keep the test the same or similar, I've still got the same smooth floor head on, and I'll go to a similar location to run the test, so it is as identical and as similar as it can be. Okay, so as you'll notice, this is a different floor. It's not laminate, this is tile, and it's still fairly smooth. I've only really got 2 smooth floors in the house, which is the hallway and the kitchen, which is a lino style floor. So let's put this onto max, and then let's see how long we go. Okay, so there we go, that's the max all now done. Probably about 20 odd seconds or so I think a little less, but I'll work that one out in a little bit. Okay, let's put this back on charge and then see how we get on with a normal run. So as like last time, it started on 2 bars, so with the third one flashing. Okay, so it's about 6 o'clock now, just to see how long it takes to fully charge. Okay, so it's just gone 7, so it's been about an hour to get that recharged. Let's go take it for a normal power test run. Okay, so as you can see, it's on normal suction. Let's turn it on and see how long we go for. Okay, so that's now out, and that was about 4 minutes, 50 seconds, 5 minutes. Again, I'll work that one out later, but that's it. So next thing to do is I'll probably put it back on charge for the last time, then replace the battery. Really just put it on charge just to see what the actual voltages are when it's taken off and sort of how long it takes to drain down. But anyway, let's go put it on charge. Okay, so first let's undo the box and see what we actually get from Dyson when ordering a battery. Again, as we can see, that this was the 23rd of September 2019 when this was boxed and posted out. Okay, let's open up and have a look. Okay, so in the box, get the silica gel. Okay, so get some screws and what looks like instructions as well. So we do get some instructions how to change it. Okay, so here we have the new battery, again Dyson branded, and I'll compare it in a moment. Just having a quick look to see if I could see if there was a date on here anywhere. But this is the 21.6 volt, 2800 milliamp hours, 65 watt hour battery, which I presume is exactly the same as this 21.6 volt, 2800 milliamp hours, 65 watts. So as we can see, exactly the same, just this sticker which is slightly different. Okay, so looking at it, there are 2 screws at the bottom and 1 screw just here. Actually, let's have a quick look over the instructions. Okay, so the instruction pamphlet with the contents, which is the battery and 3 screws, and then a quick flip down of how we're supposed to do it. So lift up the dustbin in it, take out the screws, take out the battery, replace the new battery and screws, close the dustbin, close the lid, and charge for 5 hours. So this will fit, by the looks of it, the Dyson V7 and the V8. The V7 for 3.5 hours and the V8 for 5 hours. Okay, let's see how we get on. Okay, so as I get 3 new screws, I may as well make use of them and replace them. Just check. Seems to be a posi 1. Okay. Let's good job I emptied this earlier. And then hopefully the third and final screw just under the filter. So now, it should just slide out. Just like that. So now that battery's been removed, put that to one side, and let's insert the new battery. Should be straightforward. And then we'll put the new screws in. Okay, so it's the first two. Okay, I don't want to over tighten it, but just enough. Now the final screw. Okay, one installed new battery. So now the next question is, does it work? It has been sitting there for a couple of years, quite literally. So there is the potential the batteries may have discharged and may have discharged to a state that they're just not going to work. It may hopefully also have some well, I'd imagine it's got protection circuits in there, but hopefully the batteries have been protected and they've been in a stored state for a period of time and they should work. So one or two things can happen now. It will either turn on when I press the trigger or it won't. I'm not going to be too worried if it doesn't straight away, because I do know some new batteries and their circuitry requires them to be charged up first or have some charge to actually activate them. So let's see what happens. Okay, well, that's a good sign, that's a positive sign. It works, there's charge in there, and there's one blue light. So now that's done, let's put the vacuum on charge overnight. Okay, so the other thing you'll notice as well is I haven't actually got this connected to the wall this time around. And that's simply because this isn't my house, it's rented, so I don't want to make any holes in the walls without asking the actual landlord. Right. And there we go, it's charging. Okay, so it's now the next day. I put this on charge around 8 o'clock yesterday evening, and I believe it was probably showing as charged by around midnight. But it's now the next day and ready to do the next test. So let's see how long max suction lasts. Okay, there we go. So that's about 9 minutes of full use on max power, max suction. So a much improved, much better performance, but the batteries are fairly hot. So there's definitely some warmth coming out of the batteries. Motor's fairly warm. Okay, so I will let this cool down a little bit, give it a few minutes to settle, and then put it back on charge. But looks like I've got a new vacuum cleaner back again. Hopefully, now for the next year or two, I should be able to vacuum the house without having to recharge it every 2-3 minutes.